Hello YouTube, welcome to DadTube's Garden. It's middle of October 2024. The last time I did a video on this, it was way back in the spring, and I was showing you my plans, how I was going to develop this. And all summer's gone, it's been very wet, progress has been mightily delayed, but we've got somewhere and I've got some progress to show you before autumn really bites and the plants really die off. So you've got no summer flowers, no summer colour, but we'll see what it's like now in August. Right, let's go out and see. So the raised planter had Cosmos and Verbena, and at last the blood grass is doing its stuff quite well. Now we've had some problems here. We've got this lovely Clematis, that's been really good. Nice deep purple flower. The other Clematis seems to suffer from a Clematis fungus every year now, which is a shame, but you do sometimes get something out of it. My wife's rose just died. I think that's because I failed to sort out the rust on the leaves last year after confidently stating, oh, it doesn't do anything of any importance to the plant. And then this rose here has also got it. Which is a shame because that's the rose my work colleagues gave me as a commemoration when my father passed away last year. So, I don't know why, but the Cosmos this year has not really done much. I mean, it's grown, hasn't flowered, apart from a few cases. I think maybe I've watered it too much, or there's been too much fertility in the soil. But the thing about this garden this year is I was extending the pathway. So the path would have started about there, along that point, and this up to about there. I've taken all that up, and there will be a new path over the other side. Now the soil underneath was very dry and stony, not good for planting things into. The soil over there, dark and rich, and not stony. So what I did was, big sheet of polythene, dug up the pathway. You can see those are the slabs from the pathway there. We'll come to those in a second. The soil got dug up from here, put on the polythene sheet. I dug the soil up from there, put this in the trench, put the soil from the polythene sheet over there. Now that makes sense, but when my son was looking out the window, he thought I'd absolutely flipped my lid. What on earth was Dad doing? So this is extended. I've packed it with a whole load of plants. Let's have a quick run through, or a quick scan, see the things I've put in, and then we'll talk through them. So a lot of the colours are gone. And then what I've also done is extended this area. So in front of the shed, I've got my compost bins, got a nice little arbour to sit in, and because this is all very shady and dry, because that tree sucks up a lot of moisture, the grass wasn't growing very well, so I've extended the border around so that when you're sitting there in the arbour, you've got some planting out in front of you. So you will eventually walk down the path on this side of the garden, take a diagonal walk to the shed, or to the compost, or round to the arbour. So a little triangular bit here, and I've put in the ferns that have had various locations in this garden. I've got some cyclamen, my old Tonka truck from when I was a child, foxgloves ready to come up and flower next year. I'm always looking for some shuttlecock ferns. That's what I'd really like to plant there as well. You come and sit in the arbour, and the idea is that you then enjoy this planting. So it's not a wildflower garden, but it's more wild-like, if that makes any sense. So some specimen plants, others are just what will survive here. So we've got some Verbena, as you can see, got some ferns, I've got foxgloves, and this tall plantain, which I like, the Linearia purpurea, which grows very well in this garden. I bought the cheap grass from the garden centre. Got some knapweed, giant and common. Grass that I brought from my dad's house with this furry head, and another grass I got from his house with taller, thinner thingamajigs. A hazel planted by a squirrel. Didn't plant it there, planted it elsewhere. I dug up the dogwood wood from other parts in the garden, and so you've got, if I just come back a bit, you can have hazel, dogwood, dogwood. And I've also got oxeye daisies just dotted around all over the place. This is a grass which I got from a nursery last year, and from Knoll Gardens actually, and I separated that. That's it's called Heavy Metal. I planted in jasmine, which I bought, so that's been growing well this year. So that's kind of not wild, as I say, but it's just different types of planting around here than I've got in my main sunny border. Still got the trees. I was debating whether to get rid of the apples because of powdery mildew, but that seems to have disappeared this year. The apples have been amazing, but because I grow organically, lots of insect problems. The pears seem to be having a more dormant year. Nice little harvest. The pears are lovely again, but far fewer in number. Vine is now dying off, so you suddenly sort of come back to this end of the garden. So roses going well there. Some roses here and here that I planted from my dad's house. Another hazel plant. I've got some cinerea. Got some sedge grass. That's from my dad's house. Some of this black grass, which I got from Knoll Gardens. No, not from Knoll Gardens. I got them from Furzy Gardens in the New Forest. I need to take up these. A lot of people call these geraniums. They're pelargoniums. You see the forget-me-nots are sprouting up. The cosmos just ready to bud. I've got a lovely dahlia here that the slugs got almost as soon as it went in. We've got an amethyst salvia, which looks lovely. Crocosmia, which I grew from corms for the first time. Rudbeckia, which I got from Knoll Gardens, and I split that last year. So I had lots of those things in pots ready to be divided up and planted out this spring. And I think they're absolutely bursting to come out. Some ground cover geranium, proper geranium. Pulmonaria. Again, there's a little weed growing in my dad's place. I bought a new agastache from the garden centre. The agastache I got from Knoll Gardens last year has been rampant. Wonderful. Bees have been loving that. Let's just go back a bit. This salvia has been great as well. Great smell on the leaves. Some of these white ones, I always forget what these ones are called. Can't for the life of me think what they're called now. Great, isn't it? Another dahlia here that's been flowering all the way through. I think it's on its last flush now. I got a Helenopsis. I said that quickly because I've probably said that wrong. More Rudbeckia that's dying off there. Some Alcamellia, Heuchera, more plantain there. That's a chocolate cosmos, and so on. And a lot of these things are just repeated. A few foxgloves, verbena, sedge grass there, sedge grass over there, and the oxeye daisies. So, hasn't been the immense shot of colour that I hoped for. My garden does very well in the spring with the bulbs, does very well late into summer and into autumn. So a lot of this I got in the soil because those plants in pots really needed to get in the ground. I need to rid the garden of the pots. So they've gone in, and now I need to kind of edit. So there's a lot of colour and activity here. The salvia is getting really big. The agastache is really big. I squeezed in the helonium. Is that the right word for it? Helenium. I squeezed in the helenium there, but it's really a bit too tight because you've got Rudbeckia, helenium, agastache, the white one, the dahlia, the salvia. So I'm going to spread them out. It's a bit bare of colour here because you've got the washing line here. I don't want the Crocosmia in the way, so that's going to be put at the back. I'm probably going to bring the salvia forward a bit, and I might take that lovely red dahlia and put it in the raised planter up here. So that's where we're kind of at. So it's good to get these things going. Spent a fair bit of money on getting new plants. Absolutely delighted with what I've got. And I've got some bulbs, mainly tulips, and some more alliums and some fritillaries to plant the end of autumn to come up next spring. So much more to do. I'd like to get a few bits more just over here, and this path and round in front of the arbour and round the back. I'm going to put weed suppressing membrane and have that gravelled, and have these old decorative stones lining that, so there's a better distinction. And unfortunately this looks an absolute mess because all the bits and pieces have just got thrown here. Got the old goalpost in the way, still lumps of holly. The tip won't take massive bits of wood this large. I've salvaged along this border here, salvaged 2 pots full of bluebell bulbs that are going to go out in these areas as well. All this has been saved because that's going to be hardcore for the path, and also hopefully for a new patio in this area here. Roses, I took cuttings from my dad's house. These are going to go. This currently is a wood store. Was a toy cabinet. We've edited that down, put things in the shed now, and that's a bike shed. It's only got one bike in it, and my wife doesn't want that bike anymore, so that's going to be packed away. I might well make a small outdoor tool shed out of that, just to save me traipsing dirty tools into the shed. So sorry, a lot of words. Sorry if the camera's been shaky, but before autumn kicked in, and whilst I've still got daylight to be able to come out and do this, and it's not raining, and it's not dark, well, that's what daylight is, I thought I'd come out and just update you. Haven't really done much on YouTube for the garden this year like I did a few years ago. I don't plan on being a garden vlogger, but as I started it in the spring, I thought you might like to know. But I am very pleased with the salvia, with the agastache. It's on the wane now, and this cosmos has been good. And I'll leave you with these lovely droplets, the Alchemilla. So the alchemists thought this was the purest water because it looks so wonderful, and that's what they use for their alchemy, hence this is called an Alchemilla.